What is up, everyone? Ncaa 31 here, playing some NCAA 14. I have decided which team I'm going to do my NCAA Dynasty reboot with. More on that later. But what we're going to talk about today, on the day that the latest playoff committee poll comes out, is going to be talking about the current landscape of college football and the phenomenon that is November in these college football streets. Lots of games that took place over the weekend, with which ended up having major implications with Washington, Michigan, and Clemson all going down. Auburn went down. Virtually every one of the top 10 went down. Jeez. My goodness. Implications all over the place, starting with that scintillating, barn burning Notre Dame Army game. Just kidding. Just kidding. Notre Dame. Ugh, dreadful season. Dreadful season. But anyhow, November. November in college football always has some real crazy moments. The thing is, when you get 20-year-olds playing deep into the season and the games get more pressure packed, the implications get more and more important. You just never know how they're going to respond. And that's what makes college football so great. And when I was looking at or thinking about the shakeup and what's going to be going on as far as playoff implications concerned, my knee-jerk reaction was to say, hey, Ohio State must be pretty happy campers right now. But I kind of forgot the bit of a jumbled mess the Big Ten East is. You have Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all sitting there at 6-1 in the conference, and Penn State owns a head-to-head win, as we know, over Ohio State. So let's say Ohio State wins out, beats Michigan, Penn State wins out. Penn State is going to be the ones in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. And let's say that Ohio State is still in the top three and Penn State beats either Wisconsin or Nebraska. What happens? That's going to be a very interesting scenario. Washington, I am afraid that they're going to be left out. Well, they still have a chance to get back into the mix. I'm happy that Louisville, after all was said and done here over the weekend and the way things shook out, I'm happy that they're back into the mix as well. Louisville's just a really fun team to watch. I checked it at number 3 in the AP poll. But they're just I really enjoy watching Louisville play. And I do hope they hang on to get in. But they may have a problem when it comes to getting into the conference championship game, depending on whether Clemson just decides to just tank their season or not. Never know about Clemson. Well, I shouldn't say never know about Clemson, but Clemson has had this coming for a while. It's been playing on the edge for a while, and when you do that long enough, it will come back and get you. Let's take a look at Clemson's remaining schedule here. Come on now.
It's up, and it's through the uprights. Even though they gave up a field goal,
they got Wake and they got SC, so they're probably going to win out. But, Clemson, disappointing team. Their defense, especially. Sean Watson hasn't played at quite the same level as he did last year, but the defense has not been anywhere close to the same level. So, even though they lost, seeing how they're in the driver's seat in the ACC standings, thanks to the head-to-head win against Louisville, assuming that they win out, they still have a chance to get back into that playoff mix. Washington, I don't know. That loss really hurt them. You lose at home. USC's a decent team. When I watched USC play, it was hard for me to remember that was the same team that got just absolutely pistol whipped by Bama. USC is a talented team, but losing a game like that on your home field really hurt them. They got bumped down to number 7. They're behind Wisconsin, Clemson, and Michigan in the coaches poll. They're going to need things to break right ahead of them, as well as taking care of business against Arizona State, which is having a mediocre season. But they're still Arizona State's one of those programs that's capable on any given week of giving anyone a good game. So they have that game coming up, coming off a tough loss, and then at Washington State's going to be a toughie. That Apple Cup game is going to be a problem. It's going to be a tough game. Washington State is in the driver's seat in the Pac-12 North, and Mike Leach would love nothing better than to completely ruin Washington's season. And say what you want about that crazy guy, Mike Leach. That guy can coach. And then if they win that game, you have Colorado, which is having a really good year. If they take care of business in their remaining games, you got to play them in the Pac-12 championship game. So not an easy road for the Huskies, both on the schedule and in the polls. So they're on the outside looking in. So if I had to go by what we've seen so far, my top four would be Bama, number one, clear number one, Ohio State, Louisville, and I wouldn't have punished Washington as harshly as the polls did, but number four would have to be Michigan, even though I think Michigan is a couple of years ahead of schedule. Their offense sucks. They have nothing on offense. Michigan is where they are because Harbaugh is just that good of a coach. He really is. But those would be my top four right now. And some other guys on the outside looking in, you have Clemson. Oklahoma is interesting. Typical Oklahoma. Now that the pressure is off of them and they've been out of sight for the past 3 or 4 months, Oklahoma starts winning and they'll likely win the Big 12. But they're 8-2 right now. West Virginia is right behind them. And I think they're going to get shut out no matter what as far as the playoff picture is concerned. Penn State has a chance, I guess, sitting at number 9 in the polls. They seem to be the pollsters' darling as of right now. They keep on moving them up, and they keep on winning, which is a good thing for them. They're 8-2. And those are really your main teams. As far as what else has been going on in the college football landscape, Virginia Tech, bitten by Georgia Tech. Shame on you, Va-Tech. Bottom line, if you don't come prepared against G-Tech or any team running that flex bone spread option, you're going to lose. Period. You're going to get gashed. You're going to give up yards. You'll never get it off the field. And next thing you know, you're down 10 points in the fourth, and you're running out of time. Auburn. Very disappointing game. Auburn had been on a roll lately, and that's unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen an Auburn on the fringes of the top 5 or top 4 in that Iron Bowl game versus Alabama. That would have been a load of fun. But that was just a bad performance against Georgia. Just a complete stink bomb of a performance there. And the SEC East in general, what an ugly division that is. You got Florida sitting there at 7-2 overall, 5-2 in the conference, but you just got a lot of mediocrity there on that on that side of the SEC. Florida's not that great, but they play good defense. Their offense is a dumpster fire. Georgia's kind of, redefining or rediscovering who they are under a new coach. Thank God we've been spared the prospect of Kentucky having a chance to win that division. Tennessee is just the weirdest team I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a very bizarre team. They can look like a top 4 team in the country, and they can look like they should be playing in the Sun Belt, all on the same possession. I put most of that on Josh Dobbs. I think they're basically a reflection of him. But also their coaching makes you scratch your head at times. And speaking of which, Notre Dame, not a good year for Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly does an awful lot of things right, and he's a very good coach, but this has been just a disaster all the way around as far as Notre Dame is concerned from a coaching perspective. He's not done a good job at all. Notre Dame's season is going to need its own separate video, but yeah, tons of issues with Brian Kelly this year. And a tough defeat for the Charlie Strong Defense Committee. Beating West Virginia was going to be a tough order. Almost pulled it off, but not quite. So the Charlie Strong Defense Committee, we need a split at least of the last two games, preferably a sweep. A sweep will get them to 7 wins and get them to a okay bowl game. Hopefully that's enough for Charlie to get another year, because they have tons and tons of really good young players, but they need to grow up. So that is it as far as this little look at the college football landscape, heading into some really big games, rivalry games the next 2 weeks. And I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.
He's wrapped up for the sack. Caught with room to work. And he's tackled right around the 38-yard line. He's under pressure. And he has it on the corner. He steps out at the 46-yard line. Got an opening. And they make the stop around the 24-yard line. So they go on the ground and pick up another first down. They are stringing to... We're going to overtime. The kick is away. And he got it. Game over. And that gives them the lead.
I know that I call kickers head cases, but this kid isn't one. It's like he doesn't even feel the pressure.
Close and competitive all day long. And in the end, a low-scoring final. 13-10, Tigers. Let's get Kirk Herbstreit's final thoughts on this one. Herbie, what do you got for us?
Nothing adds to the pageantry of college football more than a good rivalry. This was a great game that should only add more fuel to the fire for next year's matchup. And boy, was it fun to watch.
So that wraps things up for us. 3A Sports and Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brad Nessler saying thanks, and we'll see you next time.